So we finally got the new CRD today, and to me, this is one of those really, really, really short, like really, really tiny ones. Kind of the tiny ones that we've been getting a lot, and I actually really like this housekeeping, and I especially like the fact that we didn't end up banning anything. We just ended up changing what was already present. So, plus to that, I'll kind of dive more of my opinion on that later, but I'm just gonna kind of get right into it. I'll start off with Orange Bicycle Kick because Orange Bicycle Kick to me is one of those. To me, is one of those cards that is just like, why was it unlimited to begin with? See, I always had like two or three like arguments when it came to this, and it was always one. It was always one, make it so that you can't search out the same drills, so you can't loop checkup drill, or limit how many drills you can search, and or both. I've always said, kind of interspersedly. I still think that you shouldn't be able to get drills with the same name because that prevents bicycle loop, that prevents people from just being like, yeah, whatever. But now you've taken combative mastery decks and you've made it really hard mill, like free fucking damage mill to no damage to less than 3, which to me is reasonable. I am very, very happy about that. On the account that I didn't really run combative, and if I did, I really didn't run torching drill with it. I really didn't care too much because it was like, oh, I could loop checkup drill now, or I can get rid of my blocking drill and put in a new constant, which was always just very very small selection. I play orange like I play it back in set 5, I want to say, where it's very, very linear, it's very, very easy to understand, but it's also not very, very interactive with the deck. And the only reason I really ever used Bicycle Kick, their main effect was to either get rid of a blocking drill that I've already used and grab something like Bottle Drill, so to speak, and then to loop checkup. And if you really think about it, that idea, looping checkup and all that, is still kind of remains the same, but now you're no longer allowing that torching drill aspect. So the second is Black Punt. Pretty easy to understand. Instead of your cards, it's now your attacks. Your attacks are considered styled. So now basically you have Gohan for all of the villains, but the difference is that you can't run cards like, you could still run. Your attacks are considered styled. I feel like this is one of those things that Black Punt kind of should have had this to begin with. Instead of cards that you own are considered styled, now it's your attacks are considered styled. I really enjoy that. But to me, I think that should have been like that from the beginning. The biggest issue with a lot of decks in the game, the biggest issue with a lot of cards is that I've noticed that they've, errated throughout the years is like, why wasn't it that from the beginning? Why was Black Punt all cards from the beginning? Because if we were to look at Absorption Drill, which I got it on a different panel, Absorption Drill came before Black Punt. So you're really just you're kind of opening it, by having this punt absorption. Now a lot of people probably be like, oh yeah, but your combos don't really worry about that, so it's not that big a deal, but now it's still kind of a problem. I think to me it's always been one of those problems to get started. But I think it's one of those necessary changes in my opinion. Like a lot of this is just a necessary change. It's not necessarily, like, to me the CRD was not as shocking as the previous two, where we lost tactical drill. I know a lot of people, bringing back that video, it's like, well, why did tactical drill get nerfed? Why did tactical drill? And eventually Joey gave us an explanation. Retribution. It's like there was more to talk about. This is housekeeping. This is a housekeeping update instead of really just radically changing the game. We're kind of fixing the things that what basically it needed. Now we're not going to be seeing as many combative mill decks because there's no triple destruction with torching drill. You still like that hard mill is still possible. The hard mill is still possible. The problem is that it's now weakened. Will it kill combative decks in the long run? Well, a lot of people say combative decks were never really meta. I disagree, because in the casual side it was very, very powerful, but now it's less so. Now you're not milling 15 plus live cards in two cards. You're milling 3, maximum 3. With torching drill. I'm going back to bicycle mastery or bicycle kick again, but again, basically bicycle kick is being made so that you have to use it in the way I would use bicycle kick, in the sense that I'm not really using it for anything else. But back to punt and back to absorption drill, which is now you may place a styled card if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that because I haven't really absorbed it yet. This card is discarded. Your opponent's left deck by not. You may place a styled card from just a card. A styled card from either player's discard pile on the top of their live deck. I don't think this necessarily makes absorption drill useless. Like, a lot of people are probably already saying that. Like, yeah, absorption drill is not really useless. It's very, very good. But the thing to consider is now it's weaker. Now you can't loop things as easily. It's a little less stupid. So again, this is just kind of a housekeeping update. I'm really happy. I actually really enjoy that, because it's now it's they're taking into consideration everything else. They're not just okay, well, we need to get rid of it, and which is kind of the secondary point. My biggest issue when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! I do bring up Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was not very good in the long run, but was the fact that what Yu-Gi-Oh! Did was they always got rid of, they figured out what was meta, and they were how do we prevent that from being meta? And a lot of people were all oh, you could just create CRDs, you can create all erratas, you could do this, you could do that, and then now it's you know what we're going to do? We're going to ban it. Yeah, we're just going to straight ban it. So there's that. Now we don't really have that problem anymore. We don't have that, and I was afraid that that's the way that they were going to go. It's okay, Retribution is too powerful, freeze it. Tactical was too powerful, freeze it. And but then it was but then we got attraction drill, and then we had whatchamacallit, we had focusing drill, orange focusing drill, and it's well, why aren't they freezing this? It's it's kind of weird. I was having Yu-Gi-Oh! Flashbacks from where Konami was oh hey, we're going to ban these cards because these cards are these cards aren't worth these cards aren't worth shit anymore, everyone has them, yada yada yada. And I guess it's kind of a different story, and I'm happy that it's a different story here. So really, really, honestly, very, very short video. It's just a housekeeping update. I expected something a little bit bigger. Pretty much it's a housekeeping update. Really, that's all it is. And it's small, but it's effective. So I'm really, really happy about that now. Hopefully, Brandon will change the bicycle kick card to the actual, new CRD. And let me just kind of confirm. I think there's actually something I think there's something I'm missing. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so there's something I didn't notice. Rejuvenate up to 3 drills you control. Okay, I thought it said rejuvenate up to 3 style drills you control. So I guess I could kind of talk about how bike kick will affect orange in general. Just kind of going down the line. Adaptive, I don't think adaptive is really going to change much. So there's that. What else? I think Adept, honestly, Adept would benefit. A lot of people would say Adept wouldn't benefit out of this card. I think it would. It isn't really that big a deal. Like, it's not that big a deal. You're just limiting 3. You know, you're getting up to 3. But, again, the hardest hit would be Combative. But Combative can still mill you to death. It's just not going to be easy anymore, you know? They can still mill you to death. It's just not going to be easy anymore. So, that's basically it. That's basically it. That's all I got. So, if they add more, I'll definitely make another video. But for the most part, very, very easy to understand. Very, very easy to understand. So, that's it. I'm done. I'm signing off.